What up, guys? This is Casey is Raw again, and today I want to talk about wrestling again. Today I want to talk about the Tony Khan interview of. I'm gonna botch this guy's name, but I'll have it properly spelled here. But Ariel Awanda. I thought this interview was not as bad as a lot of people said it was. It was over an hour. If it was a full hour of I can't talk about this, I don't want to talk about this, or it wasn't full of that. It was that I believe Ariel knew he was going to get some of these answers. Especially the answers about the EVPs and the CM Punk situation. I mean, he did try to ask about CM Punk several times, and Tony Khan shut him down every single time. And the EVPs. But I'm like, you knew he couldn't really talk about it, especially if there's a rumor of two things: of the investigation that's going on, and two, there's potentially a lawsuit going on. I don't know who the lawsuit from. I don't know if it's one of the EVPs or CM Punk. I'm assuming it's come from CM Punk's side, but one thing we do know, finally just released yesterday, was that Ace Steel got released. So that's not a good sign for CM Punk's side. So that's a chunk of CM Punk's armor. But some people are like, oh, they mentioned the Elite being the first trios champions. Like, why would they not mention that? I mean, yeah, right now I can understand not doing that, but they would mention that sooner or later. And they're like, oh, this showed CM Punk as a former Ring of Honor champion. Well, not only that, they showed Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, because they were former Ring of Honor champions. So, yeah, CM Punk was a Ring of Honor champion as well. But going back to the interview, so I feel like Ariel knew he was going to get answers to some of this. That's why even it's like, I have to ask you this, because he knows he's going to get a non-answer. He knew it too, so I don't feel his frustration when he's going to ask questions that he knew he's not going to get answers. That's like, hey, what's your credit card number? Well, I can't tell you. I was like, oh, you can't even tell me, the last 3 security numbers? Of course he's not going to do that. But, yeah, Cody Rhodes, I was hearing there was supposed to be there's I guess an NDA or something where they can't talk badly to each other. Like, AEW can't say anything bad about Cody, and the same thing opposite way around. I mean, we heard rumors about the Elite and Cody not working together anymore before he left. And, I mean, honestly, there's some credence to the story because, I mean, he's not with AEW no more. I still think he cares about AEW. He's just, right now, he's making more money. Probably in the WWE. I don't know, probably give or take the same amount of money. I assume. And obviously he doesn't have no power in the WWE, but he has a chance to get the top belt in WWE. But he didn't just say no answer to Cody Rhodes. He's like, you know, gave him little props. So I do believe there's certain credence to the you know, the whole thing. You can't talk shit about each other. He even kind of confirms it even a little bit more that he said, I don't think it would serve me well. So I do think if Cody finished out his contract with WWE and he doesn't fulfill what he wants to be, like WWE champion, or I do feel like the championships will be split, and I think he should be either or. I don't think he should be the undisputed Universal Champion. So I do think if he doesn't get that eventually, he probably will go to AEW once his contract runs out. I thought it was not totally, he shut down the, what was it, Soraya? Or the person known as Paige. They're like, oh, why can't you talk about her situation? Is she going to be on air figure or wrestling? Well, I mean, honestly, he's not going to want to ruin what's going on or current storyline. I believe I was hearing that she's cleared the wrestle. So I don't blame Tony Khan of not answering that, because that'd be stupid to say, well, we're about to tell people that she's cleared the wrestle, and, you know, there's a person who are planning to wrestle. I mean, you don't just tell them that. You just let the story go out. Another complaint from him was about MJF situation. It was like, well, I mean, the guy's back on AEW Weekly now, you know. He's on there, on Dynamite. You know, pretty much the top heel again. And, you know, he's about to go for the belt at the next pay-per-view, I guess at Full Gear. So, of course he's not going to tell you about the details. Plus, he's not going to break kayfabe about, you know, the whole thing between MJF and AEW. I mean, MJF is still promoting about 2024. I mean, about him being in the middle of bidding more. I mean, honestly, the only reason they put him on ice, they were waiting for CM Punk to be healed from his broken foot, and they didn't want him to burn out his momentum. So they're like, we're going to put you on ice for a little bit, and when you come back, it'll be a shocking return, and you will be fighting against CM Punk. even though him looks like he's going to take on John Moxley, he's still going to be good, even though the whole storyline would have been better if it was MJF versus CM Punk. But with CM Punk not only serving the suspension, they're thinking he probably won't be done healing from another injury until like mid 2023. So MJF is, you don't want to break kayfabe about that. I don't know why he wouldn't say anything about Bray Wyatt, because I mean, this is before Bray Wyatt was returned into the WWE at Extreme Rules. This is before that. So, very shortly before that. So, maybe he caught wind that Bray Wyatt is going back to WWE, so he probably didn't want to be caught like, oh, you kept talking to this guy before we signed him, or when we signed him, you were talking to him after he was signed. I mean, he's trying to be careful because he caught Triple H apparently trying to catch people contract tampering. So he doesn't want AEW to do the exact same thing to them. So, let's see, talk about Cody, MJF, the Elite situation. He's trying to get some information he should have known that he wasn't going to get information about. I'd blame that on Ariel on that one, on those questions. But he's like, oh, I was like, let me break down the fourth wall, because I think you don't like me. Like, you've been dodging me. I'm like, oh, his character, like, the whole thing with, like, MJF, he was doing the interviews with these people, and he wasn't cleared to what he could say or couldn't say. So, and I think Tony Khan's been doing more interviews lately. So, I mean, he talked to the guy over an hour. And they're like, oh, there's a hard deadline he needs to get out. But I don't know, it was because Ariel was getting sick of the interview. He's like, I know you have to leave soon. He's like, I do gotta ask you these 3 questions. And Tony's like, oh, I got time. But I think Tony was trying to be as courteous as possible without having to say anything that he couldn't really say. And I think it was kind of smart from Tony Khan not saying anything about any current situation. I mean, you can't just like, oh yeah, we're getting sued by CM Punk, and you know, we're about to let the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega coming back soon. I mean, he's not going to announce that right there. And then he turns around. Ariel, after this interview, went on to another show and bitched about the Tony Khan interview, saying that he got full of non-answers, that I don't think he actually likes me. I'm like, Tony Khan was doing nothing but smiling the whole thing and, being courtesy and everything. I'm like, not liking you. I mean, because what? He didn't give you the answers you wanted? I know I sound like a Tony Khan mark, and I'm not gonna lie, I am. I like the guy. He's a lot better than Dixie Carter, but I think Ariel not only burnt a huge bridge with AEW when he talked shit about Tony Khan being full non-answers. So I think that was a bad move. If he didn't like the interview, he shouldn't post the fucking thing. I mean, it was his channel. It's not like one of his channels that he does work for. It's his own channel. He shouldn't post it. But alright, I totally forgot to bring a point up. There was one point where Ariel on his other podcast complaining about Tony Khan's interview. He said, I also wanted to ask him about his 9,000 belts on the show. Way too many belts. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Tony Khan would have took that very well, saying, yeah, about 9,000 belts on the show. I'm like, yeah, well, think about it. The guy's got AEW belts. Yeah, I think having the trio belts is a little too much now. But if they didn't have that, I think it'd be okay. You gotta remember, they have Ring of Honor tied into this, and then they'll have AAA titles. They have, New Japan titles. So I'm sure Tony Khan took that very well. Fucking idiot. So I just want to bring this up, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye.